Hello, namaste, and welcome to today's Monday midday meditation. I am so glad, truly grateful that you are here. And as we get settled into today's contemplation, I want you to get really comfortable, as usual, in your seat, that which you are seated upon, be that in a chair, maybe your office chair, or maybe it's on the couch. Maybe you have you're curled up with some pillows on your bed. Maybe you're in your kitchen. Maybe you're in your dining room. Maybe you're even in your car, and if you are, safely pulled over or in a parking lot. Because as we get settled in, as we kind of come into ourselves, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a good few long, slow breaths. Now you can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, or you can inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. You can do a bit of both. Whatever works best for you. There is no rule here. It really is a matter of settling into you and what you need. And that is the topic of today's particular contemplation, or the theme of today's contemplation, because it is in this time where we turn and tune within that we can really reconnect with what it is that we need. What a novel idea, that which we need. So we're settling in, taking a few breaths, and just allowing yourself to come within. And it really is just a process of allowing. We don't need to force it. We can't force it. It is a matter of just letting, breath by breath, things settle. The mere closing of the eyes creates that turning within power, because we are withdrawing the sensory intake that we take in through the eyes. And so that's why it's so important that if you're able to, if you're in a spot where it is safe and comfortable for you to do that you close the eyes. Okay. And so in today's contemplation, which I'm going to share with you, and as always, it's not something that I want you to grasp too firmly to. You don't need to strain to hear or to make sense or to agree or disagree or any of those things. It is merely an opportunity to share a little insight. An insight that is baked or based in the time-tested and ancient wisdom of yoga and Ayurveda. And this time-tested and ancient wisdom is really predicated on this idea, this concept, this truth of connecting within, coming back to our oneness, coming back to our center. It is connecting with our intuition, our inner wisdom. And when we connect with our inner wisdom, it is that as well of the kind of universal wisdom. There is not really any difference when you are connected. It is in this time that your clarity and intuition, inspiration can arise. And when you are tuned within, attuned to that center, with that comes this crystal clear discernment about what it is that you need. What is the next best or most appropriate action right now? And this time of year in particular, and here where I am in the northwestern hemisphere, we have snow on the ground right now. It's a little bit early for the snow, but we do have snow on the ground. The temperatures have cooled. The leaves from the trees have pretty much properly all fallen. The sky is overcast, a little gray. The winds have picked up. And this is the beginning of our winter. And winter has these very unique and particular qualities that are different from the other seasons, spring, summer, fall. I've just described a few of them to you already: the coolness, the snow, the gray, but some of the more subtle qualities, the more subtle aspects are, in particular for winter, this time of kind of tuning or coming back within. You see, this time of year, all of the energy, the pushing, the momentum of spring, the full vibrancy and the lushness of summer, the wind and the color and the kind of majesty of fall and the completion of harvest. Now all of that energy, all of the energy has been kind of expended in that cycle of the season. And now in winter, we tune within, instead of all of the leaves being in full kind of majesty on the trees, turning from vibrant greens into oranges and reds and yellows and golds and browns. All of that outward energy, the tree is now coming back to that center. We see this in nature. Even the earth is cool. It was dry. It's not dry right now with the snow on the ground, but it's the dryness. As the energies of the new life, the potential of that new life is really concentrated below. And just like the animals, like the bears and the bunnies and the raccoons and all of those creatures that have stored up all of their food, consumed this extra all through the fall so that they can hibernate, sleep in the winter. They're not out burning energy. They are inside conserving energy because the food now is not plentiful, it's scarce. And so in this season, nature has us tuning within, conserving our stores of energy in preparation for the cycle of the next season and the seasons that follow. For us as humans living in this time of year, our actions, our busy lives, or our lives don't always reflect what's going on in nature. This wisdom of the seasons seems to be, instead of that internalizing, tuning within, slowing down, centering, conserving energy, is our seasons tune or turn with the next occasion. We moved from Thanksgiving in Canada to Halloween to full-on holidays, Christmas and all of the winter holidays. We often see this time of year as well that in the business cycle, there's a lot of kind of year-end momentum leading up to maybe fiscal year-end at the end of October or maybe at the end of the calendar year. So there's always this kind of push, this rush, this building, this movement toward this thing. We even see it, when we hear, or in social media, in our culture, in our cycles, and the way we do things. Even toward the end of the year, toward the calendar year, there's this idea, this concept of cramming everything in so that you can wrap up the year, you can finish strong. You might be catching up on the resolutions, right? The things that you wanted to get done. It's that final push to the end of the year. So we as humans are not kind of following what's happening in nature, or the logic of nature, or the logic of the earth. We follow our own logic, don't we? Our own culture, our own patterns, our own habits, our own ways of doing things, because maybe we know better. But as you tune within, as you come within, as you start to settle, sometimes there is this feeling of there can be a conflict between what you're feeling, what you notice, what your what the impulse is, what the momentum is, or the intuition is guiding you toward, compared to what is happening in the rest of our culture, in business, in the media. And that's because we as humans, we're also one of the earth. We're not different from the cycles of the seasons happening in the trees and the vegetation and the bears and the raccoons and the squirrels and the chipmunks and the birds. We are one with that. And so you may be feeling, especially as the days get shorter, the daylight hours get shorter, this inclination to slow down, this inclination to conserve energy, maybe to sleep a little bit more. And that is in what seems to be direct conflict to what is happening everywhere else. So we as humans tend to just push through, have another coffee, go do a kick-ass workout, right? Push through. You can do it. Burn the midnight oil, turn on the lights, push through. We're going to get it all done. But you see, that is not always what you need. Now, tuning into what you need, or tuning into your inner guidance or inner wisdom, doesn't mean we have to kind of shun what's going on in the rest of the world, nor do we have to go live in a cave. we do have to, as, adults, as responsible beings, as humans existing in this world, we have responsibilities, we have things to do, we have jobs, we have children, we have all the things. We want to celebrate the holidays. And so how do you exist with this kind of conflicting or contrast in impulse? Well, the answer is not one thing or the other. It's not do it all or do nothing. It is finding what that right pathway is for you. And we are all unique. We are all our own beings. We are all in this place with a different set of experiences, with a different set of circumstances, different body compositions, different mind, emotion composition, different. We are all unique as our fingerprints. And so the path forward is to connect with that tuning within, to practice that tuning within, so that the clarity, the wisdom, the next step, what is the most appropriate for you, can bubble up to the top, can bubble to the surface, so that instead of following the momentum of what everybody else is doing, you are following your path of what you need, your guidance, your intuition. And we practice that again and again and again. We're doing it now when we come together in this Monday midday meditation. We do it every time we pause or break that cycle of busy, of doing. And it is in these ways that we cultivate, curate our life of calm, clarity, ease, and joy. And that is why asking yourself the question, what do I need? And giving time and space and a pause for that information, that intuition to bubble up, to surface. Will give you the answers. And that is why, as well, I take the time to do these Monday midday meditations and practice myself and practice with you and share with you, so that together we're in this community, we're cultivating these practices, this awareness. It's also why if you come to one of my yoga classes, online or in person, or to the monthly group meditation calls that we do inside the Kim Fulton Wellness online membership community, one of the first things I'll ask is, what do you need today? What do you need? It's a potent, impactful question. And so as we conclude today's Monday midday meditation, I invite you, if you haven't yet already asked that of yourself, to do so. And to take a good 5 minutes, as long as you can, in some stillness, tuned within, but closing the eyes and breathing, sitting comfortably, to allow for that answer to surface for you. And until we meet again, may this insight, this intuition, this wisdom nourish, nurture, and calm pervade. Namaste.